Welcome back, everybody. My name is Grace, or Gibby, whatever you prefer. And today I've got another Yulgar only guide where I use accessible gear from the Battle on shops, etc., to beat either difficult quests or quests with good gear requirements. This quest falls into the second category, the Fern Bully quest in Haven. Now, a couple of notes. You need to complete the Rin the Undying quest. I have a guide on that if you're interested, before you can access this quest. So this quest is gated behind that quest. Second, this quest is one of very few quests with an RNG element. So, well, there's lots of quests that have a little bit of RNG. This one has a lot. Now, there are 5 items you can get from this quest, and you can only get one at a time. So at the beginning of every quest, the character, Angel, will give you a prompt, and that prompt relates to the item you're going to get. And you can't change that once you're in the quest. So the fastest way to get one particular item is to start the quest, see what the prompt is. If it's the right one, continue. If it's the wrong one, close the client and restart. Okay. So now that I've explained that, the 5 items are Catnip Senses, which is a spell, a quick cast spell that costs SP and gives you immobility resistance. Purifying Pollen, a charisma-based healing spell, which cures poison and disease. Healing Seeds, a charisma-based healing spell which takes 3 turns to heal you. Because it's time delayed, it's stronger than other healing spells, and you can stack it on itself. So if you cast it twice, the heal is twice as strong. 3 times, the heal is 3 times as strong, etc. For this reason, it's a very, very potent healing spell. A lot of people think it's one of the best healing spells in the game, and that's even before you get into all the buggy applications of it. The next spell is Mending Vines, which cures bleed and burn. It's a charisma-based healing spell as well. And then finally, there's the Healing Branch, which is a water tome with a healing spell, an efficient water spell, and a status curing spell. Now, you have a 20% chance when you start the quest to get any of these items. And the way it works is that the quest NPC, Angel, will give you prompts. So for Catnip Senses, the prompt will be, a patient of mine is suffering from a strange form of paralysis. So you have to be careful not to click through the dialogue too fast, because that's how you know what item you're going for. And then more dialogue about paralysis. And then for the Purifying Pollen spell, one of our expeditions into the wilderness located a rather large swamp region previously uncharted on our maps. Unfortunately, the waters were tainted with some manner of toxin. So that's for Purifying Pollen. Time delayed healing is for Healing Seeds. Now, this particular medicine is going to be tricky to create. I'd like to create a medicine which provides healing on a time delay. So as you can see, Healing Seeds, time delayed healing spell. The prompt says time delay. For physical ailments, this one's a little bit tricky, but this one is for the Mending Vine spell, which again cures burns and bleeds. A group of hunters returned from a hunting expedition with some of the hunters severely wounded by a fire-breathing dragon. So that is how you know it's Mending Vines, because it's a burn from a fire-breathing dragon. And finally, Healing Staff, or Healing, what's it called? Healing Branch, excuse me. Being out in the wilderness as we are, injuries are very common. Lately, I've been working on a way to provide healing to my patients at a more rapid pace. I believe I can craft a staff which will work well as a channeling device for my nature magic. So those are the 5 prompts. And if you cannot remember them, or you're like, how am I going to remember this when I do the quest in half an hour? I'm going to put them in the comments and description below. So that information will be available for you to read at your leisure. My recording of the quest is just me going through it, and I spend a long time in the initial phase before I get to the boss fight. That's because I was doing a voiceover then, but I didn't like the quality of the voiceover. So instead, I'm just going to voice over it now and put that audio over. But you'll notice that I start the quest very slow, and I'm like rambling and going at flowers and stuff, pointing at flowers. The reason I'm pointing at flowers is because the way the quest works, and as you'll see in the recording, is once you start the quest, you'll be put into a small location with an arrow going to the left and an arrow going to the right. And in each of these 3 scenes, like 3 different backgrounds, you'll find a bunch of item components. One of them, or several of them, are flowers, a couple of them are vines, one of them is an acorn, etc. So it's nature things, and you click on them and you add them to your sort of temporary inventory. Now, each of the 5 items has a different component requirement. So to get Catnip senses, the immobility resistance spell, you need the enchanted soil component, the pretty peony component, the Hydra vine component, and the iron orchid component. Now you click on them to get them, and if you click on the wrong one by mistake, you can click on Angel to rearrange your inventory and delete the ones that you got wrong. And if you're like, how am I going to remember this? You're saying this now, but I'm going to forget when I do the quest. I've put all of the recipe requirements in the comments or description. So you can go down below there and see what components you need to get what items. Now, for the Purifying Pollen spell, you need the Enchanted Soil, the Pretty Peony, the Pure Blood Lily, and the Healing Spring Water. For the Healing Seed spell, you need again the Enchanted Soil, the Clock Carnation, the Healing Spring Water, and the Large Seed. For the Mending Vine spell, you need the Enchanted Soil, the Neospornian, the Creeping Kudzu Vine, and the Healing Spring Water. For the Healing Branch weapon, Tome, you need the Neospornian, the Pure Blood Lily Flower, the Healing Spring Water, and the Ancient Tree Branch. Now, once you're there, you'll know where all those are. It's pretty self-explanatory. And they have pop-ups when you hover over them saying what their name is. So that is pretty much it for the quest mechanics. The last thing is, after you get the 4 correct components, you have to fight a boss, Ratty Bee. He's a basic wind monster, and his SP attack is a little bit strange because you're not sure when he's going to use it, because sometimes he waits a longer time. So, okay, let me explain it better. His SP bar lights up around halfway through, but he doesn't use his special attack until he gets much more SP. His special attack has a chance to daze, and then he also has a special attack that's just a very high damage, sort of like 1-2 punch combo. That's what it looks like. Now the daze is pretty easy to resist. If you don't resist it, just be careful. But the boss goes down pretty easy if you just use a wind armor and a wind shield and an earth patent guest or a healing patent guest. His double uppercut special, it's random when he does it or when he does the daze one, but it does a ton of damage. So you don't want to go below like 1000 HP because he can hit for over 500. So you want to maintain your HP pretty high if possible. Using a defensive misc of any kind that reduces wind damage would also really help you with this quest boss. There aren't any accessible wind defensive miscs, but there are ones that are pretty easy to get with just some easy quests. Okay, so one quick note before I get done with the voiceover. I was actually wrong about the Ratty Bee boss mechanics. I made a mistake. First of all, neither of his special attacks daze, and the way he chooses between which special attack to do is that if he's above 25% HP, he always does the weaker special attack. But if he's below 25% HP, he does a double uppercut, which is still wind. But this attack is stronger the longer the fight has gone on. So, if you take a long time to kill him, like I did, his his super SP attack when he's below 25% HP will be really strong. So just something to be concerned about. You could use an Ellie shield, you could use a defensive misc, you could use dodge, you could use pretty much anything, or you could nuke him from like 26% HP to 0, or you could stun lock him since he doesn't have freedom. Any of those strategies will work. I just want to let you know that if you take a long time in the fight for some reason, in the same way I did, his SP attack when he gets to very low HP will do tons of damage that you might not be ready for. So that's pretty much it for the video. I'm going to put some music over the rest of the questing, but let me know if you have any questions that weren't answered, and if you need any component lists or prompts, then you can check in the description where I'll have put the component lists for each item. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day and peace and love, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.